This is video 2 on inequalities for pre-algebra. These notes are in your yellow notes folder under Schoology. Want to review equations really quick? There are 3 steps to solving equations. You simplify, which means you do the distributive property and combine like terms. Then you get the variable on one side, then you get the variable by itself. Simplify, variable on one side, variable by itself. Here are some other notes on solving equations, but we're talking about inequalities, so let me skip down to here. Inequalities are the same as equations except for one thing, and here's that one thing. Whenever you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, you have to flip the sign. I'll repeat. Whenever you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, you have to flip the sign. That is the only difference between inequalities and equations. Okay, let me do some examples for you. Example number 1. I have an inequality, negative 2n is greater than 60. To solve it, I divide both sides by negative 2. When you multiply or divide both sides by negative, you have to flip that symbol. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it. Flip the sign, flip the symbol. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1, so I just have n by itself. 60 divided by negative 2 is negative 30. And I'm going to do a very simple graph. That would be open circle to the left over negative 30. Number 2, to get rid of divided by negative 2, I multiply both sides by negative 2. As soon as I say multiply or divide both sides by negative, I'm going to go ahead and flip that sign. These cancel out, give me n. Negative 10 times negative 2 is positive 20. Super simple graph. That would be open circle to the right over the 20. It does not matter if this 60 is positive or negative. It does not matter if this 10 were positive or negative. All that matters is that I divided both sides by negative here, and I multiplied both sides by negative here. If you multiply or divide both sides by negative, you have to flip the symbol. Let me do one more example. On this one, to get rid of divided by negative 4, to get rid of times negative 4, I divide by negative 4. As soon as I multiply or divide by negative, I flip that sign. Those cancel out, give me n. 8 divided by negative 4 is negative 2. Remember, we always want to rewrite our inequalities with a variable on the left. So it points to the n, still needs to point to the n. And my graph would be closed circle to the left over negative 2. You try number 4. On number 4, to get rid of times negative 3, we divide by negative 3. As soon as I say divide by negative, I flip that sign. That gives me x is less than or equal to positive 2. My variable is already on the left. In the last video, we showed a better way to graph, but for right now, I just want you to show that you know it's closed circle to the left over the 2. Try number 5. On number 5, to get rid of divided by negative 2, I multiply both sides by negative 2. Those cancel out, give me n. As soon as I said multiply or divided by, I should have went ahead and come down here and flip my sign. And negative 2 times 14 is negative 28. My variable's on the right. Let me write it on the left. It should open to the negative 28, point to the n. This says n is less than negative 28. This says n is less than negative 28. And this says n is less than negative 28. Try number 6. On number 6, I have 2 steps. To get rid of plus 5, I minus 5 to both sides. 5 minus 5 is nothing, leaves me with negative 11x. I didn't multiply or divide by negative, so my symbol or sign, however you want to call it, comes down. And that's 11. Now, to get rid of times negative 11, I divide both sides by negative 11. I divided by negative, so I'm going to flip my symbol. And I get x is less than or equal to negative 1. So close circle to the left over negative 1. Number 7. On number 7, to get rid of -8, we plus 8 to both sides. -8 and +8 cancel out, leave me with 5n. I didn't multiply or divide by negative, so my sign comes down. -23 plus 8. Keep the sign of the larger and subtract. 23 minus 8 is 15, so you get -15. Now, to get rid of times 5, I divide by 5. Remember, I'm dividing by positive. That's what matters, so I don't flip my sign. -15 divided by 5 is -3. We want to rewrite that with our variable on the left. N is greater than -3. So open circle to the right over -3. Running out of room there. Number 8. On number 8, to get rid of +9, I -9 on both sides. Same sign, keep the sign and add. -24. Bring the symbol down because I didn't multiply or divide by negative. Bring down my -6m. Those cancel out. Here, to get rid of times -6, I divide by -6. Now I am dividing by negative, so I'm going to flip my sign. Same sign, positive. 24 divided by 6 is 4. Those cancel out. M is less than or equal to 4. Let me write it on the left. So that should be closed circle to the left over the 4. Number 9 involves simplifying. You have to simplify both sides before you start solving it. Do number 9. On number 9, the left side is already in simplest form. Bring my symbol down, bring my -8n down. Combine like terms. -6 plus -7 is -13. Step 1, simplify, done. Step 2, variable on one side. It already is. Step 3, variable by itself. To get rid of -13, I plus 13 to both sides. -21 plus 13, keep the sign of the larger and subtract. You get -8. I don't flip the sign here. Bring down -8n. Those cancel out. Now to get rid of times -8, I divide by -8. -8 divided by -8 is 1. I did divide by negative, so I do flip my symbol. And I get n is less than or equal to 1. I'm going to rewrite that. N is less than or equal to 1. That would be closed circle to the left over the 1. Number 10. On number 10, I have two sets of like terms. My n's, -7 plus +1 is -6n. And I also have two constants. +3 and +3 give me +6. I combine all the like terms on the left, bring everything else down. Now I'm ready to solve it. To get rid of +6, I subtract 6. Bring down -6n. 6 minus 6 is nothing. I didn't multiply or divide by negative, so my symbol stays the same. 24 minus 6 is 18. One more step. To get rid of times -6, I divide by -6. And that gives me n. I divided by negative, so I flip that sign. It's -3. I know sometimes I say sign, sometimes I say symbol. Not sure which, if any, is correct. Both may be. I'm out of room, so over here I'm going to write my graph, which is open circle to the left over -3. All right, number 11. On number 11, on the left side, I distribute the -2. -2 times 1 is -2. -2 times -5n is +10n. Bring down everything else. Next step, to get rid of -2 or -2, I plus 2 to both sides. -2 and +2 is nothing, leaves me with 10n. Bring down the sign. -62 plus 2 is -60. Now, to get rid of times 10, I divide both sides by 10. At no point did I multiply or divide both sides by a negative, so at no point did I flip the sign. And I'm going to do a better graph this time, just to help us remember how to do it. I find the, that should be -7. I find the -6. It does include it, so it's closed circle. And it's greater than or equal to, so everything to the right is also included. Closed circle to the right, greater than or equal to -6. Okay, 2 more and we're going to be done. Number 12. Number 12, I have to simplify both sides. On the left side, distributive property, 8 times -1 is -8. 8 times 3n is 24n. On the right side, 158 plus 2 is 160. Bring my sign down. I got to get rid of times 24 and -8. We start at the bottom of GEMDAS and work our way up. So we +8 to both sides first. -8 and +8 cancel out. Leaves me with 24n is less than 168. To get rid of times 24, I divide both sides by 24. And n is less than, I need a calculator, 168 divided by 24 equals 7. 7, open circle to the left. And you can make your graph even simpler if you like. Just make sure you know it's open circle to the left over the 7. One more, number 13. On number 13, the left side is already in simplest form. On the right side, 8 times 2n is 16n. 8 times -7 is -56. Both sides are simplified. The variable is already on one side. Let's get it by itself. Starting at the bottom of GEMDAS and working our way up. To get rid of -56, we plus 56 to both sides. Those cancel out. Bring down 16n. Bring down my less than sign. All right, keep the sign of the larger and subtract. So that's going to be 14 minus 6 is 8. 9 minus 5 is 4. Of course, you can put that in a calculator. Now, to get rid of times 16, I divide by 16. -48 divided by 16 is -3. I did not multiply or divide both sides by negative, so I did not have to flip my sign. But I do want to rewrite it with my variable on the left to make sure your mouth opens to the end both times. So greater than -3. So that is your video on solving a little bit tougher inequalities and graphing them. In these inequalities, we had to simplify and get the variable by itself. I don't think we had one with the variable on both sides, but the main thing we got to know is this. Whenever you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, you have to flip the sign. Thank you.